What kind of tile can you put on the wall or shower? Do you have to seal tile? How much extra tile should I buy for my project? What thin set is the best for my tile application? How hard is it to maintain natural stone? You have questions, we have answers. Welcome to the BELK Tile Podcast. How to style the bathroom, the backyard, the kitchen. How to improve your home style with tiles to make your home absolutely beautiful. Welcome to the BELK Tile Podcast. Here's your host, Mike Belk.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the BELK Tile Podcast. I'm Mike Belk, your resident tile guy, and I've got Abby with me here. How are you doing today, Abby?
Hey Mike, hey listeners, I'm good and pretty excited. Today's topic is one I swear comes up in every consult, grout problems, and honestly, nothing wrecks a gorgeous tile install faster.
Yeah, for sure. So to kick things off, I want to share a story from the BELK Tile files. New homeowners had a floor done, looked amazing at first, but the grout started crumbling like within maybe 3 weeks. Every time they swept, more little chunks showed up. Nightmare situation for anyone, right?
Oh, I've seen that, and people always think it's just the grout, but it's way more layered. You want to walk us through what was going on with that install?
Absolutely. So for this one, the real culprit ended up being the subfloor. It wasn't stable, had some flex, so every time you'd walk across, those tiny movements stressed the grout. And then, turns out the mix was a bit off, too much water, so when it dried, it literally shrank and left cracks. Textbook example of multiple little issues piling up.
I think people underestimate how key that subfloor is. I mean, if there's even a little flex or movement, the grout is always going to lose. Tile might survive, but grout will crack. And there's also mixing and application, right? Too much water or the wrong additive, like you said, and it just fails.
Exactly. Add in wrong grout choice, say using sanded in a tiny joint or the opposite, you end up with weak points all over. And beyond cracking, there's the classic stains. Cementitious grout especially, that stuff's like a sponge, just loves to soak up anything, oil, dirt, you name it. Suddenly you've got dark spots or that orange ring in the shower.
Mold and mildew too. I see that one in almost every bathroom redo. If you skip sealing or there's no ventilation, water hangs around and boom, gross grout in no time at all. It's such a simple step to seal it and yet so easy to forget.
And the thing is, even great grout can fail if it's not matched right for the job. There's sanded, unsanded, epoxy, all of them have a place. Get it wrong and it'll let you know, just not in a nice way.
Which is why we always say, grout isn't an afterthought. We'll get into picking the right type in a sec, but seriously, if you nail the prep and choices now, you'll save so many headaches later on. That's the long rant, but it's true.
All right, so let's dig into picking your grout. For homeowners, this is where things get, well, overwhelming. Most folks just want to match the color and move on, but there's a ton of actual chemistry behind it. You've got cementitious, epoxy, and then newer urethane grouts. They're all a little different.
Yep, cementitious, that's your traditional grout. Great budget choice, but super porous, so stains and water get in unless you seal it well. You can add a sealant to the mix or do it after, but either way, maintenance is non-negotiable.
And a lot of the time people think grout's grout, right? Big nope. Epoxy is this two-part system, not porous, so it's pretty much stain-proof and water-resistant. I gotta warn, though, it's not exactly DIY-friendly. It'll set up fast and you've got to work clean, otherwise you're calling us to remove haze from the tiles.
And then there's urethane grout. Not as common, but I actually used it in a kitchen last year. It's a nice balance, stain-resistant, not as tough to use as epoxy, and it doesn't need sealing. More pricey up front, but if cleaning's a sore spot, it's totally worth it.
So to your point, if you're using white or pale grout, especially in a kitchen or bath, you're going to notice every speck of dirt. Lighter shades just demand more attention, shows stains, shows wear. You almost always have to up your maintenance game, or you're stuck with dingy lines fast.
That's actually why I do lean towards epoxy if someone insists on white grout, especially in a backsplash or shower. It's just so much easier to keep bright. I had this client, a family of 4, lots of cooking, tons of traffic. They were tired of scrubbing grout. Epoxy fixed so many of their headaches, and honestly, the price paid for itself by saving on cleaning products alone.
One last thing to flag, when to seal. You've got to seal cement-based grout, no question, right after it cures and reseal down the road. Epoxy and urethane, generally not needed. If in doubt, check the manufacturer's info. And the color, can't say it enough if you want to avoid endless touch-ups, maybe compromise on that brilliant white and go just a shade darker.
Just a shade, but still light enough to make those tiles pop. It's all about balance and knowing how much time you actually want to spend cleaning grout over the next 10 years.
So you've picked your grout, installed it right, now comes the marathon, care and fixes. This is where most DIYers kind of freeze up, but it's not as scary as it sounds, right?
Totally. First, regular cleaning, sweep or vacuum, especially on the floor. Dirt's the enemy, and the sooner you clean up spills, the less time they have to leave marks. Big one. Avoid harsh chemicals. I see so many people reach for vinegar or bleach thinking it'll fix everything. But honestly, vinegar can actually break down sealer on cement grout over time, making it even more absorbent and prone to stains.
Yeah, and if you do go for something like vinegar, do it diluted and sparingly, and never after you've just bleached. It's a bad combo, creates fumes. For tough jobs, use a nylon-bristled grout brush. Don't use a wire brush, you'll just strip the seal.
And resealing, can't skip it. For cement grout, reseal every 1 to 2 years, depending on how much traffic you get. DIY sealant kits are everywhere now, and most aren't hard to use, but don't skimp on prep. Clean the grout thoroughly, let it dry, then seal. Otherwise, you're trapping dirt under that fresh seal.
If you're seeing a small crack or stain, grout pens or stain dyes can buy you time, especially if you're prepping for company and not ready to regrout the whole area. But if you've got big cracks, loose chunks, or mold, it's better to remove and regrout that spot. Sometimes you have to dig out the old, get right to the root, and start fresh.
Had a client with a shower wall covered in chemical stains. Somebody had been using really harsh cleaners. We cleaned it up, let it dry, and resealed it. The before and after, night and day. And what was wild is just how quickly you can turn grout around with a little focused effort and the right products.
Bottom line, maintenance doesn't have to be a chore, but you do need a plan. Think of grout like your teeth. Brush and checkups make all the difference in the long run.
Yeah, and if something looks off, don't wait. Small fixes now are way more manageable than major rehab projects later. Your future self will thank you, promise.
Let's talk prevention, because honestly, if you catch stuff early, you save a lot of time and money. Give your grout the same attention you'd give, I don't know, a car or your favorite sneakers. Regular inspection is super underrated. Just look for cracks, chips, or weird discoloration when you're cleaning. Spot stuff before it snowballs.
Yes, and make a routine. Clean with pH-neutral cleaners, sweep up, and plan on resealing cement grout every 1 to 2 years. People think grout's done once it's in the wall or floor, but really, it's more like a houseplant. Needs a bit of love to stay healthy.
And if you're dealing with places like bathrooms or kitchens, ventilation is a huge deal. We see it a lot. Showers with no exhaust fan or folks never opening a window. If you want to keep mold away, you got to keep it dry. Run the fan, crack the window, even mop up any standing water after using the shower.
And little lifestyle tweaks help too, like mats at entries or even taking shoes off inside if you've got white or light grout. Every bit of prevention adds up. And if you live somewhere humid or your water has lots of minerals, even getting a water filter for the shower can make a difference in keeping grout bright.
Totally agree. And educate everyone in the house, especially the kids, about what can and can't go on the tile and grout. That means no rollerblading across the kitchen, okay? Or at least not without warning.
Exactly. The better the routine, the longer your grout will last, and the less worry you'll have. Prevention really is the secret to keeping tile looking sharp for years.
If you've already got a mess on your hands, don't panic. Advanced repairs sound intimidating, but they're doable with the right approach. For busted grout, the first step is carefully removing the damaged spots. A grout saw is your best friend here. Take your time, don't rush, or you'll chip the edges of your tile.
And make sure you go deep enough to remove all the crumbly stuff, but not so far you're gouging the back of the tile. Once you vacuum out the debris, you're ready to pack in new grout matching the color and type. Sometimes you have to test the shade. You'd be amazed how colors dry differently than they look wet.
For really finicky fixes like blending repairs into old grout lines, there are patch kits that use epoxy for spot repairs or color-matching dyes so the new blends right in. It's not magic, but with patience you can get darn close to invisible repairs. And after new grout dries, always seal if your product needs it.
And here's a designer angle. Document what you've done. Keep a little log, what repairs you made, when, what sealant you used. That way you know when it's time for your next inspection and you're never guessing or redoing work needlessly.
That's a great tip. Plus, if you hand off the house, the next owner will thank you for the info. Advanced repairs don't have to be daunting. Just take it step by step and know when it's time to call a pro if it's widespread or you're not comfortable. Follow a system and you'll keep those tiles and grout lines looking new a whole lot longer.
And I think that's a wrap for today. Bottom line, the grout makes the tile pop. Don't treat it as an afterthought. Choose the right type, seal it, and keep an eye on it. Spend an extra hour making those decisions now, and you'll save yourself years of hassle down the road.
Couldn't say it better myself, Abby. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in to BELK Tile Podcast. We'll catch you in the next episode, maybe a little less grout talk, but always more tile wisdom. Abby, take care.
You too, Mike. Bye, everyone. See you next time. And don't forget to love your grout just a little bit more today.
You've been listening to the BELK Tile Podcast. When it comes to creating a beautiful home using tile, this is the podcast for products, design ideas, and tips. We hope you got some useful, practical information from this show, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, reach out. The website is www.belktile.com. Our store phone number is 614-543-8334. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BELK Tile and on Instagram at BELK Tiles. Make sure to leave a rating and review. And if you have questions or comments, reach out. And we'll talk about it on the next show. Till next time.